Master 1 and 2 on World Literature, guided by Professor Sushan Kumar Mishra. And my name is Olivier Harifon. This is for the record and for to remember all the elements of this lecture. So we finalize our way to connect, and I'm sure there is an opportunity to make an article together according to epic, myth, modern epic, and communication and diplomacy. I'm sure there is a very insightful work to do, but that's not for you, that's for us. And today we will deal with the last element. We have seen that it's possible to tell a story. We have seen that each country may rely on one resources, including all of this here. And we have seen that there is different possibility to use words, myth, communication, and to convert it into diplomacy. Today, as China is a little bit difficult to cooperate with, at least for foreigner, after the COVID, I decided to reorganize my research, and I had the chance to enter in contact with Kazakhstan since for 2 years. What is interesting of Kazakhstan? It's interesting that it's a middle power. The size of the country is quite good because it's the 7th biggest country on Earth, but it's only 24 million inhabitants, which is just the size of Delhi. Yeah? So the country is totally empty. It's totally flat except the borders. And, but they have a clever, mademoiselle, they have a clever approach, and I will try to, no, I will not try, I elaborate on that approach for 2 years. So it's interesting to see that what are the resources, what are the stories, and who are behind the Indian, the one which was sitting there yesterday, which was looking for a keyword I don't remember. Yeah, but I don't remember his keyword. Arbiter, yeah. I had the chance to access to a certain unit in the MFA, and that give many indications of how they are working. Well, the kayak experience. One of the points that you may not know is Kazakhstan was a part of USSR, Soviet Union. They are independent since 1991, and finally they try to find their own identity, because it's more difficult for a country like this than a country like for India or China, which has a huge, long history. Frankly speaking, the history of Kazakhstan, it's not so, let's say, deep without any judgment. Huh? So it's a work in progress. Maybe you will not see that. But what are the possibilities for a middle power? A middle power, it's like Turkey. So considering that China, France, and India are big powers, some other countries try to find their way on the global level. I don't deal with Turkey because it's not my country, but I deal with that. So there is 3 possibilities for a middle power to use power. It's a balancing, bandwagoning, and hedging. So I make the French translation because otherwise I don't remember the meaning. And all these countries, including Kazakhstan, try to be with a group to cooperate into multilateralism, or to navigate into diversity, not to take sides, which is clearly the case of Turkey. And balancing, it's a little bit more complex. At least identity where the discourse of the country reflects choice and reality. sorry, I don't remember the reason of that line, so I skip it. So at least we see that there is some choices for a middle power to develop a story. Alors, of course, in the framework of this lecture, I have grabbed into the myth or epic which may exist for Kazakhstan. There is only one, which is Genghis Khan. Because he was a founder, so the greatest empire on earth from the, I think, around the 8th century, if I'm not wrong. So Genghis Khan, they clearly use this heritage. But there is some technical element because, you know, Mongolia is around there. I think so. Mongolia is around there. And there is different part of different hordes, which are not discussed into that, but at least as Mongolia used Genghis Khan, what do the Kazakh have found? They may use Genghis Khan too, and they label themselves nomads. And I'm actually working on nomadism. I have made a very recent article. I'm quite happy to do that. Sometimes I think myself as a nomad, so I'm always working with my own identity, which is normally the trend of each researcher to work on topics which give us some insight. But at least they try to say. And if you are very curious, there is a Kipchak Khanate, which is around there, where Kazakhstan, this is the Aral Sea, Kazakhstan is around here. So this is a subdivision. They also, I was mentioning, of course, they also rely on nomadism. If you type on any search engine Kazakhstan, you will have images like this, or nomadism. So a lot of, at the same time, reality and cliché, because nomadism moved from a certain reality, let's say in the ancient times, to another reality for tourists. And it's very popular, at least in the West, I don't know here, to live like a more or less a nomad. You may have heard about the term digital nomads, which is a subcategory. So let's say it's a reality. Yeah. New students, very good. Of course, I try to do the similar approach by mapping the country. I just saw that night that I didn't show you the ranking of India. You know, the branding yesterday, we discussed about France, Russia, and all that stuff. Frankly speaking, I don't know why Belgium is a higher brand than India. It's not for me logic, because I know Belgium from the inside. What are the branding of Belgium? There are only one big corporation, which is Chemi. They don't produce any specific element. And of course, they have the cliché of beer, chocolate, and waffles. But how the brand of Belgium higher than India, this I don't understand. But oh, thank you, because I didn't find at the shop. So we see here that, look at that, even Belarus, the best friend of Russia, is higher than Kazakhstan. So this ranking is, for me, became a mystery this year. This is a ranking, we have to accept, you have to look at it, but I don't understand why such a country which is, you know, I don't know if you're aware of Paraguay. You know Paraguay? Yeah, you know Paraguay, of course, but it's not in the headlines every day. It's a very, very narrow country, isolated in, not isolated, but you see what I mean. It's not Brazil, it's overshadowed by Brazil and Argentina. So why is it higher than Kazakhstan and than Liechtenstein? Well, I think I will delete this part to do something else because it's not relevant. But I use some other indexes that I didn't develop in other cases. There is a rule of law index and a good country index. Index are quite useful, you will, and which will balance. And you see that here, Kazakhstan, order and security factor are the most important. So at least we can, and then they are in the middle. To make it short, this is a labeled power. They label themselves middle power, but they are in the middle of almost all the rankings. So it gives an idea this is a methodology on my side for researcher that I gather 10 indexes on one country, at least it gives an information. But that's not your job, but at least it helps. This table comes from Kazakhstan Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I had the chance to attend to an event last year, the World Nomad Games, and they give it to me. So I make a copy because to translate it, but it shows that even the foreign ministry use indexes to label its own country, which is quite interesting. And here, of course, maybe they don't use the indexes that are not in their favor, like the corruption index, of course. But at least we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus the two other ones, and it gives 67, it's in French, but it's the same, 6,789, 6,770, 47, and blah, blah, blah. So it gives an idea where the country is, how is perceived through many indexes. I precise that all these indexes are mostly done by independent units. Either it could be a UN agency, or it could be an NGO, or it could be a research center. So they are not manipulated. This is a UN Global. This is a travel and tourism. This is done by the World Travel Organization, WTO, and all that stuff. And we refine again the Global Soft Power Index. And you may ask why all the countries, why it's not always 193, because in sometimes data are lacking. I don't know the tourists in Eritrea or in Ghana, but sometimes some countries have no data. So all the countries are not included into indexes. But I argue that countries label themselves and use these indexes to know how they are perceived abroad. And use that also to communicate, to promote a narrative. And I subscribe to the newsletter of the Embassy of Kazakhstan in Brussels. And 3 times a year, there is a new index which pops up. So the central administration say, oh, you have to put it in the line. Then it arrives at the embassy, and then it is spread through their subscriber. And I receive the information. And you may receive this information. Then you are more precisely accurate by one message and one subscription. And for me, it's more efficient than to put Instagrams in, we were there, blah, blah, blah. It's another point. The topic, once again, is being visible on the map. The topic. Sorry for that. I don't like this, but it's like this. Okay, we will do like this. The topic being visible on the map, Central Asian states want to strengthen their identity and promote an image outside the region. On the long term, one country can be better identified, and we come back to my field, communication with image, narration, and soft power. The 3 topics we discussed since 3 days. And we are here, narration, with the world literature, connection of these purposes. So that all the countries try to be clearly with a positive image in the mindset of a big majority of citizens, including the represented country here. Is there questions? No? Okay, it's clear? I think for the 3rd day, you get this logic. Huh? So now I try, after this introductive comment, of course, as always, I illustrate the results. I illustrate the realizations. And it's, here it's clearly an element. So they try to be on map with different items. Once again, as I said, different resources. So it's an efficient coffee. One element, for example, is maybe have you heard about this? The Trans-Caspian Middle Corridor. No, it's not the right term. It's never the same one. Trans-Caspian Corridor Road or Middle Corridor. Have someone here have heard about the Middle Corridor or this corridor? Normally not. You have heard.
That China planned to.
Huh?
That China was planning to.
No. It's not China. This is EU funded in European Union.
Yes, there is a competition there, but it's not China. China I mentioned the first day. You were there?
No.
Oh. I mentioned the first day the Belt and Road Initiative, which is a scheme which is competing this one. There is a competition in the zone between the Belt and Road Initiative to connect with trains and the Global Gateway, which is the brand developed by the EU. And because China is there and Europe is there.
Yes.
And you have heard that there is some problem by taking the boat because of the Houthis and all this stuff, and it takes a long time. So we plan for years to delivering goods, not by trucks, because it's too long, by trains. So this is connectivity. Why I discuss about that? We can say that it's economy. No, it's an argument for Kazakhstan to exist in the mindset of the citizens. You are not concerned by connectivity in that because your country is not in the line. But at least they try to seduce and inform at the minimum the Europeans on that. So because the road, some geopolitics, the road is closed by Russia since the war in Ukraine. So the middle corridor is another solution. And for example, the traffic was double 0.5 in 2022, the traffic by trains. And there is a joint venture between Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, and Georgia because the problem is mostly here. We've got one sea, we've got Georgia, we've got another sea, and we've got Turkey. So here it's quite easy, but the problem is quite here. Well, okay, so okay. Yeah, I took that and we go back. And so it was Astana Time is the official language, official journal in English in Kazakhstan, but same. Newsletter of the mission in Kazakhstan in Brussels, 1,200 subscribers. So I have monitored, I have subscribed to that letter. There is no such a letter from the Embassy of India in Brussels. Don't ask me why, but I would be happy to know why. And I've monitored this letter and create some categories, and 6 articles about 14 letters were on the middle corridor. So they use it as an argument just to being middle corridor Kazakhstan, a connectivity and a good partner for trade. And if you receive this on a regular basis, it's on the map. For me now, it's an evidence. It's also my research. So, but the newsletter, so I put another print screen, unlocking the potential of the middle corridor. We cannot do better. Sponsored by the World Bank. It's just labeling the stuff. alignment with the audience in Brussels, willingness to present the country as a trustable partner between China and Europe, and to put the country on the map with maps. So the process is perfect. Let's go back to South Korea yesterday. South Korea is mostly for the young ones, and the process is perfect. Here, Kazakhstan has no K-pop band. If you hear of one musician, maybe you can be seduced. But at least they are targeting another audience, which are the Brussels bubbles and the industrial people. That's not important. Important to hear that we can tell a story to different kind of audiences. This is important to hear. So I can go back to that. There is at home a book of 1.5 kilo, big like this. And it's a huge document of all the quotation of the Kazakh names during the history. So this is a nice book. You turn the pages and you see all maps of the region which are available in 3 major libraries in the US. What is a kind of that book? This book done by a researcher is also a kind of legitimation to go back to grab history. Exactly that here there is some trends to grab history to go beyond the British heritage. Here there is a similar approach to go beyond or to go over, I don't know the correct name, over the Soviet heritage and even the Russian heritage to go back to something. So the researcher point out all the names of the tribes. There is an incredible long list. We don't go into that. It's too technical. It's a similar approach. And then it's another target. It's an academic target because it's a book. So it could be found somewhere and it's rich and the thing. And the introduction is a quite clear political statement as we, the Kazakh, we have always been a state, which can be clearly discussed. It was more Khanat, it's a local term, and I prefer to say small kingdoms. Maybe before the Mughal times, it was like this, small kingdoms. So, and of course, there is maps for the whole history from the 16th to the 19th century. And it stops, it stops when the Russians penetrate the area to colonize the region. So it's clearly a political book. It's a research book with a political, identical approach. Okay? And once again, it shows the different approaches of the government. So we have done that one. Now we move some element on nomadism. Alors, my research shows that there is 3 dimensions on nomadism. It's social, with a respect for nature, the sense of family and community, the courage, thank you, and endurance because actually in Astana it's -5, so and in winter it's -20. So you have to be strong to fight against the cold. Space, the nomad is at home everywhere because this is you can transport your duties. And temporal, the nomad is perceived as immutable cultural and ethnic continuity despite the adaptation of societies. A new student.
He's from Turkey.
Okay. Good to know. Well, So three elements of the nomadism. And then we will look how the country will want to use these things. I don't know if nomadism is, for Indians at least, I don't know if it's nomadism, let's say, a trendy topic for vacation, but in Europe it's very popular. Very, very popular because of co-working space. When you just put your smart, you know what is co-working space? Yes? Yeah, there is one in Bali. The most famous one is in Bali. Everyone knows. It doesn't clear co-working spaces. Yeah. Co-working space. It's a space or a location or in a building where you pay a fee, a monthly fee to come and for working. So either you just have a seat like this and you open your computer and connect to high-speed Wi-Fi, or either you have a fixed place with a key and all that stuff. I have a working place in Brussels to go, not to be at home, not to be at the university. And of course, there is a small working place with 30 people. And the next one in Brussels, there is 300 people in the same space, not building, same space. Imagine that you can cross every day someone different. Oh, you have a project on the tourism. Let's discuss something. It's a very emulative approach. Huh? And of course, the people in co-working space are more than your age than my age. And you pay a fee, and you also have a kitchen, sometimes some events, and also networking capabilities. I'm sure there is something like this in the big city in India. Because it's in between being a member of a corporation and between staying at home. Why do I speak about that? Yeah. Thank you. Yes. So I was saying that I'm not sure if nomadism is a trendy, attractive topic, at least in India, but in the West, there is a combination of individualism, Wi-Fi working everywhere, and personal freedom, not to be connected too much with big corporations. Of course, this is a particular person, but that's why such a country may use nomadism to promote itself. That's okay? Raise question if it's not clear. Alors, yeah, I should have switched that. Okay, it's a work in progress. No, I show. Okay, sorry. It shows that you see that when the work is going on, it's not the same than when it's very more integrated. Why do I mention that? That's aware of the interest of nomadism. The Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan have registered on the intangible cultural list of the UNESCO, the nomadism. You know the ICH? Well, of course, we all know that Nalanda is a UNESCO heritage because it's made of bricks, such as the Taj Mahal and in Turkey, Göktepe, and in Bangladesh. I don't know. You know that. When it's made from bricks or natural landscape, you don't have to move it. But there is also the intangible heritage. So, for example, India has declared the chant of Ladakh by Tibetan monks on the list. Okay? The Hungarians have declared the horses, the Lipizan horses, on the intangible heritage list. And sometimes it is craft like le tissage, carpeting, weaving, stuff like that, traditional practices. So there is a list and there is a committee each year, and each country I'm sure that all the countries here in the room have something on that list. Why do I put this? Maybe you can be lost in translation, but you see the connection. So this slide say, let's take into account nomadism as an asset because of heritage and because of going forward. This slide says, let's use one cultural resources as other assets and use institutional elements for that. It's similar than yoga. It's on ICH, okay? What is that? And so this is the slide. These nomad games, and they register nomad games. Not only nomadism, but nomad games. Traditional games developed by nomad during the summer. So this is a copy of the website of the UNESCO. So it gives a big institutional foundation, and it aims to improve health and well-being through sports, aligned with the objective of preserving intangible cultural heritage. We've got the similar, we preserve heritage, we make sport, we are in good health, that's perfect. Okay, votation, positive votation by the UNESCO unit, blah, blah, every year, and it's okay. It was done in 2021. No, but then what will we do with that? Because some country register something, they don't do nothing for public diplomacy or to tell the story. They don't do nothing. They have done something very clever. So there was a first edition organized by Kyrgyzstan, but Kyrgyzstan is an unstable country and not so organized. So then it moved from Kyrgyzstan for the first edition to the second edition or third edition, it moved to Kazakhstan. In Kazakhstan, one thing I've noticed, all the Kazakh people I've met until today are very clever, very well trained, very open-minded, and very goal-oriented, and also friendly, which is very nice. So it may explain then why Kyrgyzstan decided at official level to say, okay, we will organize the World Nomad Games. So now the World Nomad Games enter into force, as well as the Vietnamese delegation. Is the official coffee provider of the promotion. No? You can open a coffee shop, yes. It's very trendy, you know, Vietnamese coffee in Europe, very trendy. Oh, no, so I feel it here. With tea here, with coffee here. Okay. I had the chance to attend to the World Nomad Games last September. Nice picture, very nice picture, you know, like horses and traditional dresses. I don't know, there was Indians also. Traditional dresses, huh?
That is you.
It's not me. No. I remain as an expert.
You also have
Yeah, but yeah, no, I remain as an expert. And you've got archery, you've got wrestling, you've got some games with dices, osle, and dices. You've got some other sports I don't remember because it's totally, as a Westerner, it's totally unknown. But there was a French delegation, there was a delegation from Spain, there was 2,000 participants from more than 89 countries, including India, including Bhutan. No, you're not from Bhutan, including Bhutan. There was a delegation of 7 people from Bhutan. But it's logic because it's close. But France and Italy and Spain, even the US with the horses and they were dressed like cowboys. Okay, academic session, there was an academic session where I had deliver a talk. ethnic sports of the folk culture to the nomad of Central Asian steppe, such as archery on foot, on horseback, horse racing, different forms of wrestling, and also eagle hunting. You have seen these images. We have an eagle here, and you dress your and all this is perfect for the images. Perfect images. So I have monitored this event. And once again, the line, they were ready to tell a story. Welcome to the club. Here, to capture the Kazakh embassy of Brussels, which is their X account, I think, they made a video just to inform us that it was going on. Well done. Then here it's a nomad in Paris. So they make a special car which drive from Astana, the capital, to Paris in the framework of the Olympic Games. And of course, the car stops, and we all recognize the Eiffel Tower. So the communication, whatever is the outreach, the communication is there. It means that it comes from the top, and it goes slowly through each embassy to promote this topic. This is how to tell a story. This is how to convince audiences. To be totally aligned, to have a big framework controlled by the government, and then spread through different audiences. And of course, we find such an element on a regular basis on the newsletter I mentioned earlier. So it was done.
Sir,
Yeah?
sir, the previous slide, the World Nomad Games, is it like approved by any international organization
Approved.
or supported by any?
It's a good question. It's supported by one I don't remember yet. It's supported by the government of Kazakhstan, normal. It's supported by the organization of 36 states, which include Kazakhstan, Turkey, Kyrgyzstan, because this is a common language. And it's supported by the Ethno Sports Federation.
They are okay with
No, let me finish. The Ethno Sports Federation was founded by Turkey.
Turkish
Turkey country. So there is 3 big partners: the government of Kazakhstan, because it's a hosting country, the organization of Turkish state, which is not very powerful, and this organization that I don't know, the Ethno Sports Federation, which is here to promote ethnic sports. Is that okay?
yes. Now, connecting to the next question, so are they okay with having games like eagle hunting? Like, calling so many countries and hunting eagles, like it's a norm.
Eagle hunting,
It was included in the games. So
yes.
So many countries coming all together and playing games like eagle hunting, isn't it like harming the nature? So is it like any historical or cultural?
I can't. But there is. I speak to the French delegation. There is no eagle hunter among the French delegation. You see what I mean?
It's not included in that.
No, it's included, but as in the. It's not included, but as is it in the Olympic Games, except the big countries, the delegation is not able to have a participant in each sport.
Okay.
Is that your question? Is that okay?
Yeah.
No, and her question is also related to environmental
Yes.
issues.
Environmental issue, like so many countries are coming all together and they are like participating in games like eagle hunting.
You mean they will kill all the rabbits?
Not killing the rabbits, but killing the eagles, like hunting.
No. No, you don't shoot the eagles.
That was the question.
No, you keep eagle here. You send the eagle to hunt.
To hunt rabbits.
Yeah.
Whatever
Any other animal.
Yeah.
the eagle hunts and comes back to you.
Oh, that's the
Yeah, the eagle is a hunter.
Okay.
The eagle is a hunter.
So that you are using animals, even eagles, that issue is there. But it is there like bullfighting in Spain. Our own Jallikattu is real.
And you may also, if you are very aware of the welfare of the animals, why not? Alors là, un leurre, je ne sais pas comment on dit. Tu sais ce que c'est un leurre? Non, L-E-U-R-R-E. Okay. You don't kill rabbits, you have some fake. You have a fake prey. You have a fake hunting prey. Huh?
Dummy rabbits.
Dummy rabbits.
M-M-Y, dummy. Fake
Okay,
rabbits.
yeah. So
Manipulate.
you've got a horse, then he has a rope, which is moving this fake
Dummy rabbit.
dummy rabbit, and then the eagles go on that. So it's avoid to kill the animals of the country, which is normal. That's okay? Honey rabbit. Good question, at least. Okay. Let's move. So, I also tried to evaluate the result. We will know. Alors, it was totally organized as a similar way than the Olympic Games. So there is a opening ceremony with all the people walking with flags, with their traditional costume, with the discourses of the president. It takes 6 to 5 hours. I didn't participate. Then there was all this media center to report. Then there is a closing ceremony and all the medals, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Frankly speaking, outside the bubble of the country of Central Asia, I monitor. There was 2 reports on CNN. That's all, which is very, very. They didn't succeed to go beyond their normal area of influence. But at least at the regional level. So the 5th World Nomad Games are over. So here are some, I don't know the tip. And here we've got, to answer your question, all the structure which are participating, which is totally classic, private corporations and institutions, which is very classic. Turkish Airlines, because I've learned that you're from Turkey. Contribution to the construction of their identity by moving away from the legacy of the Soviet era. I consider it very important. You know, it gives the possibility, I give the possibility to each citizen to decide, but it gives the possibility to say, oh yes, finally we were nomads before the Russian area. And the Russians, the Soviets destroyed the nomadism in 1930s, and there were 3 million people died because of that. So they made, okay, oh, we can recover. Finally, we were nomads, which is quite a contribution of the government to the identity. And citizens of the participating country can recognize themselves as a way to connect the present with the past. So that's why this is one of my arguments. Of course, it should be better analyzed. It's a limitation of my research to have survey how the games are perceived by the local citizens in a remote area in Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. This is too far for me to do that, but at least I have asked this question by email to the Kazakh organizer. I never received any answer. I have the personal email of the person in charge of the international strategic communication unit of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Kazakhstan, which is already something which is high ranking. So I write to him, of course, no answer. Then I write to the press office of the president of the Kazakhstan. He says, no, we will not give you any details. Okay. They don't want to disclose the element. But they have their own results, but it's no, sometimes they don't disclose such elements, such as the similar for India, and similar for French, and similar for India too. Well, an image of the ceremony, which was, well, okay. Alors, at the international level, renewal, development, and preservation of diversity and originality of people, useful action to develop more and tolerant. Alors, this word, which is very not academic, very political, are the quote. I should put quotation marks. Citation mark. It's a quotation of the official discourse of the president. So he said, "We want, as we as Kazakh, we were nomads. We are proud to nomads now, and we are happy to prove to have to preserve the diversity, originality of people, and useful action to develop more open interaction relation between people." Okay, that's academic. Well, not. It's political wording without any surprise, but at least he's doing the job. Okay? Hop là.
Thank you so much.
Everything is possible here. This I never had in New York. But at least it shows that they are open-minded. Then, so we were, I analyzed, I made some assumption on regional level, then some comments on international level, despite that with two 5 minutes report on CNN, it's not too much. But at least, of course, they can go back to tourism. So if you put, this is a game for me, a small, I put, what was the, I should remember the keyword, but if you here, look at these images. Very trendy in the West, very, very trendy. Green, open space, blue sky, freedom, we are away from the city, the pollutions, and with my laptop I can do everything I want. I don't know if there is Wi-Fi here, but images of steppes, horses, youths, game, shamanism, very trendy. For tourists who would like to visit this country, desire to attract more tourists according to emerging segmentation between ecotourism, nature, and neo-nomad cuisine. I attend to to the press conference of the Ministry of Tourism, which was founded 5 years ago. Can you imagine? Only 5 years ago. And what do they say? Okay, what do we have to do? Now we are a full minister, otherwise it was a unit somewhere. Now we are a full minister. What can we do? Of course, there is a trend to attract people which doesn't want to go to Mongolia, they want to go to Kazakhstan. You can tell a very nice story with nomadism. Nomadism is full of imaginary. You can do many elements. So, neo-nomad cuisine. Where is my slide? No. My slide is here. Perfect. So there is some ambiguity. That's more research slide oriented, but there is a French researcher say we are going into a musification. This is a danger with tourism. When you put too much energy on a spot, it becomes like a museum, no more life. Problem of Barcelona, maybe the problem of Taj Mahal, I don't know. But when some culture becomes frozen as a product, we face a problem. That's another debate. We don't have to go into that. But now, with that, if Westerners are asked, because the problem of if Westerners are asked to put the country of Central Asia on the map, a large minority are unable to do so. And maybe you, if I ask you to put Tajikistan on the map, you may have some hesitation. Alors, I told to my student every day, every year, do you know Bhutan? So all this from my French citizens says, yes, we know Bhutan. Where is it? Somewhere in Asia. You see, it's not so clear. Everyone knows where India is. But it shows that there is some room to improve some reputation. Well, ambiguity about the question of modism. So this is a slide of neo-nomad cuisine at the conference of tourism. Alors, there is some problem because it's a discourse from above, from the government. It comes only from the top. So we don't know if the private sector can spread and reuse these arguments. So this is a problem, and the values and community of heritage tradition underscore. And there is another tension between transforming one tradition into one product, like everywhere in the world. For every element of culture, if you transform it into a marketing product, except South Korea, because this K-pop is clearly an entertainment product, transforming nomadism or yoga or what else into a clear marketing product, it changes its content and it changes the possibility, and sometimes it's more used by private protagonists than the government. But that's how it goes today. Any question? No? That's clear? Good. Well, I think I'm going to some conclusion in that case. So as I was arguing before, building an identity aimed at breaking free from a colonial history. It may remind you some elements here. Tourism, messaging, and public diplomacy related to a fictional realm. So this is some problem. And also, the biggest problem today, measuring efficiency. As we discussed yesterday, we discussed before, measuring, it's good. Okay, we have resources. We want to tell a story. We want to attract people. We want to improve our image. How to evaluate it? Plus the problem of that index which ranks the country in a very strange manner. So confusion still remains, but at least one of the solutions I mentioned today and earlier are the indexes which can be used and the survey which are owned by the government. And they are not disclosed. It's a shame, no, it's a regret for researchers. So first conclusion about identity. Then they will use they have used world nomad games as a long-term construction for the image. I cannot prove it, unfortunately. But I have the intuition that this was decided by the central government of Kazakhstan some years ago and used as a tool for that. Exactly for that purpose, according to all the small elements I gather here and there. But when I told you I have asked two central units and didn't receive a clear answer. If you were reading French, you may have been aware of one chapter describing all this case in my last book, published in December. But I will translate it into English and promote it next year. That's not fun, but you see, to be coherent with my approach, in this book, Diplomacy by Narrative, the New Soft Power in Asia, there is 3 cases. One chapter, there is an academic chapter on narration and storytelling and soft power. I will enhance it with myth. There is another chapter on Kazakhstan which broadly says all these elements. To become a soft power and a visible soft power, and the process is going on, which is very interesting. There are still 3 events that year. There is a chapter on Pakistan. Chapter on Pakistan. A proto-public diplomacy, which is totally unorganized, but at least it's interesting to see it, because they try to avoid the image of being a hosting country of, how can you say in a diplomatic manner, of instability. Is that enough? And there is a case on China, which was disclosed the first day, and how the image of China is proposed, and which is a result of one storytelling. And there is a small case on Georgia, which is a small country in the Caucasus, but it's too short to disclose, to present it here. Well, some other elements in the similar approach. So President Macron was in Kazakhstan in November 2023, and here I quote the official statement of the Élysée, of the French government, and it says, we support the President Kassim Jomart Tokayev, him, sovereignty effort against Russia and China. Clear. France recognized Kazakhstan as a as a what? Sovereign power, efficient power, respecting multilateralism, and it goes because you see the first slide on the choice of the soft middle power to join a group. So India may be alone. Turkey want to be alone. Brazil want to be alone because they are big enough. It's not possible for Kazakhstan. So they join and they say, okay, we respect the multilateralism, the rule-based order. We apply the sanctions against Russia. We follow the rules. And then recognition came by another country. That's how we can read the communication process. And a similar manner, sorry for that, but a similar way, Macron, in one year, Macron went to Kazakhstan. The President Kassim Tokayev went to France, and Macron will go to Kazakhstan at the end of this year. It's very intense. In 1.5 years, 3 state visits. Very intense. And the similar process, it's a copy of Le Monde, the reference newspaper in France. France hosts Kazakhstan president as a partnership under Russia with full eyes. So it shows that it's also recognized in a similar manner. Of course, behind that, we have to be frank, there is uranium. That's okay, correct word? Uranium, because Kazakhstan is the second biggest producer of uranium in the world, and France has the biggest the highest percentage in the world of electricity produced by uranium, by nuclear power, which is, according to the world today, the best way and the fastest way to reduce global change and decarbonation, despite the problem of the waste. Nuclear waste. But I will not go into that topic. It's not my topic. Modern epic. Born bold. You get the point? Born bold. So they create a slogan, which came from the top, from the central administration of the presidency. Born bold. What means born bold? En français, audacieux par nature. Je ne sais pas si ça sonne pareil en anglais. For me, hein?
Audacious by nature.
Audacious by nature. For me, it sounds very, very easy to connect with nomadism. Audacious by nature, okay, you have to ride, you have to face a problem, you have to open new doors, you have to find solution because there is a lot of water or something else. And they create an hashtag. I didn't, the hashtag, you can see it in the signature of the official newsletter. And they create a website. This is Kazakhstan, where boldness is our DNA. Alors, okay, it's a marketing product to attract investment. If you look at the video, it's clearly a marketing product to attract investment. But they find a slogan. They don't say invest in Kazakhstan. Okay. They don't say come as a nomad. Okay. No, they find something. According to me, the words born bold, audacious by nature, may also include a certain imaginary connected with what they want to be. So it's clear. You see how it's, for me, it's very clever. It's very clear. It's very structured. And that's the efficiency to become known, recognized as a middle power visible on the map. Which is something that your neighbor is, Pakistan is totally unable to do so. There is something that Vietnam is not ready to do so. So that's why this case is interesting, because it shows that a country can develop a narrative in a clear manner which, after maybe 5 or 10 years, will succeed to reach different kind of audiences. We don't look to the video. The video is so is a little bit deceptive because it just show image of technology, young guys doing business. Okay, that's a little bit. And this is a very famous. It's called. I think it's a Sharing Canyon. It's one of the image that which is related to Kazakhstan. Is there any question before the conclusion? Yes?
And the idea of nation which has boundary. Isn't these two things paradoxical? No.
Where is the question? Where is the question?
The question is, I'm structuring it.
Breathe.
Yeah. No, so my question was that, let's say a nation is there, they want to preserve their identity as a nation, stronghold, you know, they want to preserve their stronghold and against Russia and all these things, let's say. Now they are promoting this idea of nomad, which is in their DNA. And if it's just a cultural product, then it's okay, but if it's really the attitude of people, then how can you really, stabilize the people for city life? You see what I'm saying? Like, this idea of nomadic is very different from the idea of city life and nation.
Yeah.
The idea of investment, the idea of, let's say.
You see a contradiction between promoting the identity of nomadism and living in cities with investment and technology?
Not technology, but with this kind of modern
City life.
structure, yeah, of commercial structure.
It's a good contribution because this topic has been raised by different researchers. There is a contradiction because, there is a contradiction by claiming that we are nomads, or that this, and living, and I think 60% of the population living in cities. This is a big contradiction. And it has been raised by some scholars. Anthropological approach with a contradiction. But if we go back to, let's say, modern imaginary, not epic, it may help it has two consequences. It may take away, it may it's a solution to take away the Russian and the Soviet period, which the Kazakhstan really suffer from that. So it gives some, okay, we were there. The second, it may also, as it comes from the top, it may a way to unify on a certain control the country. So that's I have an answer. I was discussing with a friend. He's married with a Mongolian wife. Her wife is Mongolian. So he goes to Mongolia in summer, of course, mostly. And he says to me, "Oh yes, yes." So he showed me some pictures, and you drive a long road, and there is Yota. In the middle of nowhere, there is Yota, 5 to 6. Yeah, it's a small, let's say, hostel or hotel. And he says to me, yeah, now for vacation, urban Mongolians go for some days in Yotas to remember that they were nomads. Maybe we will face a similar process in Kazakhstan. Alors, you have nomadism for tourists. You and me, we go together and we expect the horse riding and blah, blah, blah. Okay, why not? And for the local ones, it could be 1 week per year as a tourist, local tourist. And the structure, in Mongolia, the structure exists along the road. Because you have seen a picture of Mongolia. It's a 20 kilometers straight road with nothing except mountains in the back. So this is similar in the steppes of Kazakhstan. So until now, I didn't went to a countryside of Kazakhstan. But maybe I will see that. I went to Kazakhstan among 3 times 4 days, and on 12th day I spent 11 days in a room like this. So I didn't see. I see only 1 day the outskirts of the capital and the lecture hall. But except to tell my private life, I think your question raised a very interesting topic. When it comes, yeah, I'm sure you use this word, commodification. You heard this word? It's a trend of commodification, and the local people may go that way, and there is a contradiction. But at least it shows a way for the national citizens of Kazakhstan. It shows a way that they had some background which were less harmful than the Soviet period.
Yeah. So it's like creating a mythology, a kind of musicification that you say.
Yeah, it's both. It's identification, and if on the ground it may become commodification and musification, which is a danger for any tourist stuff.
Yeah, because now, as I see it, that this nomadism is kind of a nostalgic attitude that
It's an old tradition.
Huh?
It's an old tradition of Turks because geography is shaping their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Imagine there's a place very cold. You have just only one option. Summertime people are going these mountain areas to cool down.
Yeah.
Winter time they are going at city life. Same thing is going on in Turkey. Still that tradition we are reducing.
Yeah.
In Turkey, winter time people are of course living in cities and all. Summertime cities are very hot. What these people will do? People will go on that mountain areas, that plateau areas.
Yeah.
And they are also using that traditional tents.
Okay.
Right now we call them Turkmens, Avşars.
Turkmens?
Turkmens, Avşars, I am also from that Turkmen tribe. And this tradition is still going on.
You have some Turkmen origin?
Yes, sir. My father's side is from Turkmen tribe.
My next
Now,
question.
yeah, no, it's okay. But that youth system is, I saw there, youth means men. That system is especially like Central Asian tradition.
Yeah, that's true. That's
and
true.
we migrated 1,000 years ago. And
Yeah. Turkmen label themselves as nomad.
yes.
And there is Yurta in Turkmenistan, of course. This is not only limited to, it goes from the west of, Yurta goes from the west of China to Turkey.
Yeah.
No problem. It's related to Central Asia, big element. But first I do one case on Kazakhstan, and then, as far as I know, Kyrgyzstan is not able to do so, as they are nomad too. And yeah. Other question?
Yeah. My other question was related to what she mentioned, that this idea of nomadism is special. It's not just related to Kazakhstan. I mean, it's a broader Central Asia.
Yes.
So now in the future, there might be a time where this idea of, again, the conflict of identities might emerge. That it's not necessarily belongs to Kazakhstan people, but it's a larger Central Asia.
Yeah, that's true. But each country is free to use this myth.
Oh yes.
And you know, Mongolia, yeah?
Yeah, it's in
the name of the country.
What?
Kazakhstan and Kazakhstan. This idea of nomadic is
Oh,
in the name
now
of
in
the.
this, yeah.
But each country is free to use it. But as far as I know, Mongolia do that. They play. Mongolia, it's one of the most, with Peru. 220 spots for the Westerners, Mongolia and Peru. Peru for shamanism and Mongolia for horse riding, and yurtas, and this imagery of out of the city finally. You're right. It's an interesting topic, and it gives some element on the imagination and the imaginary we may some countries may use, or some some government may use, and some arguments to create a map, to create a city on the map. Another question from another student. Thank you. I remember your contribution last year, this year too. Next year? No, you finish. Next year you're done.
Next year.
I'm not sure to be here, too.
So any other question?
J'ai un peu fini un peu. C'est un peu plus tôt aujourd'hui, j'ai moins de matière.
There is part of Shanghai Cooperation Organization which operates.
OCS.
Shanghai
SEO.
SEO.
SEO, yes.
So I represented India as a young author there.
You?
Yeah. And I met many authors from this Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Central Asia particularly, because the SEO is works for that. The focus is on connecting the Central Asian countries.
Yeah.
What I found that unlike the neighboring countries such as Uzbekistan or Kyrgyzstan, and the focus on literature, literary heritage,
Yeah.
such as there was a Persian famous poet Mirza belonging from Bihar, this particular place, where the literature has been published by many Central Asian countries.
Okay.
Kazakhstan is not into that,
No. Kyrgyzstan?
but other Central Asian countries are using that as a soft power or for their diplomacy, with connecting with different countries.
Losing literature?
Yes.
You're right. You're right. I agree. In Kazakhstan, it's Abai.
So no. So
Yeah,
I
that's
wanted
right.
your views. Is why do you feel that this is a lacking from the Kazakhstan side, but they're not using their literary heritage?
Kazakhstan?
Yeah.
I cannot argue on that, because I don't have, I didn't, I'm not from the literature studies or world literature area. So even if I know that there, the Kazakh embassy in Brussels gave for free the work, a book on Abai, 19th century, when this guy, through poem with a Persian style, developed a sense of identity and national identity. So he gave it for free to the visitors. But I didn't, and when you want to learn Kazakh, it's called Abai Center. But I don't have seen something in my research on that dimension. So either it's a portal of the government, or it's a choice. We don't know. But at least I didn't see nothing. On the contrary, I didn't have made this case, but you were there yesterday for the video on Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan has one, we have seen one poet, Matim Goli Farji, which is also from Persian origin, which has lived in Turkmenistan, which has written a book in the 17th century or 18th century. And last year, Turkmenistan decided, under the umbrella of UNESCO, to elaborate one event on the 300th anniversary birthday of Matim Goli Farji. So they, as they start from scratch, they try to have one resources for that. But it's not managed in the same manner than Kazakhstan, in a so articulate manner. But at least it's an illustration. Does it answer to you? Okay. You're right. You're right. Many, as we say on the first and second and the third day, culture is a fourth element to introduce and to go to promote the image outside and to tell a story and to attract readers. What's the most obvious element to go into one culture? It's first, listen to music. Second, go seeing some movies. Then to read books. I've done this way with China, with India. I've read books. So the country do that. Once again, we have to look on kind of two lines. One line is a resource line. I can draw that. I can draw this before my I will draw this. I have a slide of conclusion, and then I will recap on the whole content. We have a resource line, resource. Of our line, or column, like this. So we can make a list. The Chinese have done in a very organized manner. But after that, we've got the efficiency line of column. And sometimes it starts here, but it doesn't go here. That's why we don't receive that. Whatever is the imaginary. And some states say, oh, because we organize an event, because we are proud of it, we will be famous at the world level or among our citizens. But no, the receiver is free to decide with that. Plus the filter of the media. Because if the media don't cover World Nomad Games outside the regions, which was the case, or there was it's another topic, but I've made some notes. There was a Central Asia EU summit in Samarkand this week, okay? I put a Google Alert, you know Google Alert? I put a Google Alert in French and in English to receive data. It doesn't be like this. So yeah, we can put another here. Imaginary. once again, it's a cocktail of that. And what I show, that I want to convince you today, is that the case of Kazakhstan, which is an emerging, shows some results and some clear articulation. Once again, we can compare with some other country, but comparison is not reason, we say in French. Comparaison n'est pas raison. And also comparing is creating some problem because people which are compared maybe feel offense. Another question? So I give you my slide of conclusion. It's shorter than the last session. Okay, no problem. And I will recap the content of the 3 days. First, communication is here to stay. Every structure communicates, even you through your smartphone. So communication is here to stay. But the lines are blurred with influence. Communication say, okay, I speak, I promote my product, I promote my country, I promote my water, but now it's more influence. So the lines are blurred. Everyone tries to influence different minds, and then it comes through the cocktail of disinformation, but which is not the focus today. And then there is a clear competition between states. It's here to stay also. We don't know what will be the next surprise by the actual president of the US, but at least the competition is here to stay. And at the same time, the states are focusing on their own interests. It's legitimate, but it depends on the games which are, on the tools which are used. Once again, it's not my duty to do interference and to ingerence into electoral processes. It's not the topic of today. But communication is here to stay, and competition is here to stay. And now I can add a word. Don't write on the. Okay. Maybe fragmentation is here to stay. But it's more a geopolitical comment than imaginary comment. But maybe the topic of the lecture, myth, modern epic, and public diplomacy, can go into that. So, what did I? Is there any question? What did we see during these 3 days? Bon. So resources are here. Resources exist. So we have seen different examples. Communication is here to stay, as I say also. Myth and epic, to use the word, are in use. So it's a national narrative. So I developed my ideas during these 3 days. This cocktail is a very vibrant and actual cocktail. Then I saw 3 case studies. First, China, from 2008 2022, long time, and say from from expansion to suspicion. I don't know here, but in the West, it's clearly that. And the image of China switched from expansion, so 2008, everything was possible in China. I had a chance to cooperate that years. Now, in the West and many other countries in the world, soft power of China, the panda, yeah, but electric vehicles, rare earth, and other stuff, okay. Let's raise a question. At least we can evaluate cases. Then I saw yesterday Turkmenistan from scratch. C'est ça? Scratch. Il y a un T là?
Oui. S-C-R-A.
S-C.
R-A.
Ah oui. Ouais, c'est ça. I always mix the two. Okay, from scratch, why not? Then we see South Korea. Entertainment. Capitalism. And that's why it's so easy to promote, because it's a product. It's a cultural product. Nomadism, China is not a cultural product. China is promoted itself as a power. But South Korea sells a cultural product and try to use a side, as a wish to benefit it from it. And Kazakhstan, a middle power, to be on the map. So I argue for years in my book and in my research and in front of you that identification, no, maybe not. That comprehension and evaluation are possible. You know? So 3 foundations: resources, communication theory, and tools, myth and epics are in use to create national narrative. So I have to draw a line here. So, and then we have seen, let's say, broadly speaking, 4 cases. I hope not too rapidly for you. Sometimes I have the impression to go too fast. But at least, no, there is no accent. Comprehension and evaluation of narrative and communication strategy are possible. This is how it goes today in my field and in my research. And it goes, it's now your duty, if you receive this as a duty from the director, to make connection with world literature. I just have an idea. It could be very interesting to use this framework and to find one book of one country and to find if we have some links somewhere. It's just an emerging idea. Very interesting. What are the questions? Yes?
I just, out of curiosity, what are the narratives that modern European, present contemporary European states have?
Good question.
It's like France or Germany. What are their narratives in this sense?
That's a very good question. What are the narrative of you? Alors, I don't go into each country,
No, no.
but except Hungary, all the member states, so we are now 27 because UK left, so 26 member states in the EU say we share the same value: rule of law, freedom of expression, development of human being, facing global challenge, and respect multilateralism order, Roosevelt order. So this is the main discourses of the European Union, which is shared by all the countries except Hungary. Hungary.
These are what attract, so these are the quality or characteristics that attract people, you need to say, or provide them with a unique identity.
Yes, yes. Alors, there is this small cocktail which is quite interesting in Europe. Each country, Latvia, France, and Greece, has its own identity, but not without fighting against the rest. And thanks to or due to the war in Ukraine and the decision of President Trump, suddenly, all the whole country say, yeah, we are European. And there is a lot of research papers which are arising. Oh, yes, we are European.
Whatever these characteristics, these are the normal characteristics of a democracy, right?
Yes, yes, we assume, Europe assumed to be a broad functioning democratic area.
So how can it have these are not unique characteristics? Because the moment you say that the democracy assumes these characteristics,
Yeah.
if we accept that there are many democracies in the world, except European or out of European Union as well, then how can these be uniquely European? So that means to say that maybe Europe has this idea of these ideas being generated from that land. The narrative is not these, but narrative is that these are essentially European, or at least these have been created by Europeans.
What, democracy?
These characteristics.
You know, there is a researcher 20 years ago, he says, Europe is the attractive by norms. Such a norms I'm not sure, are attracting people. I have always the same example when we speak about that. Say, how can we explain that so many migrants want to go to work in Europe? How can you explain that people from Turkey, people from Eritrea, people from Syria, people from Southeast country wants to go and settle in Europe for work? Do you have an explanation? Not so many Indians, because it's not English speaking over there, and you are more attracted towards Canada and Australia. But how can you explain that so many migrants want to come there? I have only one answer. It's peaceful. It's rule of law, and if you respect the rule, like in any country, you may find your way, and you may sustain your family, and you don't face any corruption. So this is my explanation. But of course, populist citizens will say no. But populist citizens don't explain why there is so many migrants want to come to Europe.
That is true, sir.
I think it's true.
My question was that these characteristics, even Japan, I assume you would also accept that Japan also has these characteristics, or even South Korea.
Yes,
They have.
they have.
They have. So because they are democracy.
Yes.
So these are not, these characteristics itself are not uniquely European, but what really could be the narrative of Europe is that these characteristics have been created by Europeans.
No, because it would be egoist. No, in that way, if you say, oh, if we say to the rest of the world, we have created democracy because it was born in Greece, it's very arrogant.
It's very arrogant, but that is what the narrative is. I mean, how can it be arrogant?
Because it's even if it's not arrogant, it's perceived as arrogant by the rest of the world.
But what I'm saying is, how can
Okay. I don't know.
Because there must be some kind of self-reflexivity, right? Because let's say you are a European.
Okay, you say South Korea, Japan, and Australia share the same values. Yeah, but yeah,
People also want to go there. I mean,
that's true. There is a lot of migrants going to Australia.
and I want to go to Japan, not to live there, but just to be there.
Where?
Japan, like, Japan is attractive for me more than Europe.
Yeah, but Japan is not very friendly with migrants.
I know.
You know,
that.
huh? It's a very close country.
Yes, and it has its own history, which creates that. But what I'm saying is,
But
these characteristics are there.
I don't have any other explanation. Maybe it's, but it's not a real argument. Maybe it's a tradition of consensus
In Europe.
in Europe to avoid war.
So again, there is a tradition of consensus to avoid wars.
Yeah, because we were destroyed by 2 wars.
Before that also there are many wars.
Huh?
And before these 2 wars as well, there were many wars.
In Europe?
Yeah.
Yes, smaller ones.
History is like
Yeah. So maybe this is, it has been said at the beginning of Europe that it was the reason of creation.
because what we study in India, for example, when we study about Europe, that okay, let's say the French Revolution, the idea of equality, fraternity, all these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So we don't really study that these are the norms now, but we study that they have created these norms. So the narrative is more like that these ideas were generated there, not that these are there necessarily.
Okay, you learned that it was created in Europe.
Yeah, I mean,
But I think so.
whether it's true or not, that's another matter.
But-
What I'm saying
but-
is the narrative itself.
If you compare, I think it's true because if you compare, Japan was not a democracy before 1945, and South Korea neither, Korea neither. Only the case of Australia, Canada, and the US, to make it short. Huh? So why not to say it was created by the Europeans?
Exactly.
Why not?
So that narrative is the epic, or that is the narrative of Europe, let's say.
Yeah, but Europe don't want to be arrogant. You know, Europe face many opponents coming from the south and from dictatorship and authoritarian countries. So for a long time, Europe doesn't want to appear that arrogant. Even now, when we have Ursula von der Leyen as a president of the Commission, she's very strong oriented. She receives the support of all member states, but with a low voice. And that's the choice of Europe. And maybe it's a way to behave in Europe. There is something, now it changes with populism and disinformation, but there is something there is let's say Europe, it's a shortcut. I've always been trying to find some balanced way of living together and discussing together, despite wars and war of religions and all that stuff. That's true. That's okay? You are not convinced? Your mind is still working on the topic. I can feel it.
But it's okay.
Yeah, some other questions?
Yes, you have a question.
Yes?
I have a question that where you see the position of India to establishing modern epic as a diplomacy?
Shall I answer with the mic or without the mic?
With the mic.
So the question is, once again?
Where you see the position of India as to create modern epic as a diplomacy, as a diplomat
Yeah.
across the world?
So what are the possibilities for India to tell something to the rest of the world?
And where is the position in current situation and what can do India?
Alors, first constatation. it's a mystery for me. Since I am in Brussels, I don't see any promotion of Indian interest by the Indian embassy. It's a mystery. You've got one concern per year, that's all. There is a yoga day, but yoga day is a commodification. So I don't see nothing very clearly. There is no newsletter. So I don't see nothing visible from the Indian embassy in Brussels. I've tried many times to contact, this is my 31st trip in India. So I could have been identified as someone which is a resources for the Indians more.
So India is
First, consultation in Brussels. Then, it's clear that India, since your prime minister is in charge, has been elected, India has chosen multi-victorious diplomacy. So I contribute and I take what I want to do, what's useful for me. Okay. It's not the only country. The Europeans consider that India could be more oriented towards multilateralism order, multilateral rule-based order. Huh?
Multilateralism rule-based order.
The Europeans consider that India could be more contributing, more engaged into rule-based order than, okay, I take sides, okay, I do that, okay, I do this. And it's clearly visible since the third term of actual prime minister. Then it's another mystery for me. So I came in India, so I was looking to the year 2000, 25 years. This is my research topic. I didn't see something booming emerging. You can quote Bollywood. Okay. But Bollywood is popular maybe in Bangladesh and in the Middle East. But we are not, the Europeans are not ready to look at a 4-hour movie with 1 hour of dances. It's not our framework. You have to accept that. Then you can say, of course, yeah, Mr. Modi creates a Yoga National Day. Yeah, 1 day per year. And now, yoga is a market. I always quote this MID. I'm doing yoga every day. Yeah? When I was looking to a course, from 1 kilometer around my house, there is 6 yoga classes each day. It's a huge offer. From Bikram to that type to another type, and you rent into the room, you do blah, 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 and you go out. It's a market. And such a teacher never went to India. They just receive a label from 200 hours, and then, so it doesn't become, okay, it's related to India, but it's more a healthy practice. Then, so it doesn't become something, everyone knows that yoga comes from India, but it's not used or visible as a key element of the Indian soft power policy. So someone else told me tech is a soft power of India. Bangalore, IT, and hubs. Come on. What is that? Tech is not a soft power policy. Tech is tech. It's an app and you use it for something to whichever purpose. And for me, it remains a mystery for 25 years why there is no clear soft power policy from the government, and as well as there is so much resources in that country. Everyone in Europe, all my friends says, have an opinion on India. Know something about the Mahabharata, the yoga, the Ayurveda, the food, the literature. Everyone knows something, more than Bhutan and Myanmar. That's more logic. But There is no Korean if you go back to that. And it's not so easy to say, to assume it, to say it in front of Indian citizens here. Why there is no such a cocktail coming from your country?
Maybe it's internal politics, because we, in order to speak something, we have to decide that it is accepted by all the Indians.
No, that's not right. No need to discuss it. We are not here to discuss politics. That's not our purpose. Straight to the topic. That's not the purpose. Because you have a limited time.
Thank you for coming.
So now, if anything, any such question related, the answers are there to these, but you have not done research on India.
Huh?
That's also a fact.
What?
The answers are there, but you have not done research on India. That's also a fact.
I have not done research on India?
On India in this framework.
I have done so.
The books are not there.
The books are not there. It's not published, but I have done, I can send you an article. But it's not so.
Right, so it is there. Anything else that related to the topic? Because see, you are not bringing your main framework. I'm not interested, or we are not interested here in politics. If you are interested, you can go and do politics. That we are not bothered. But come to the topic or think of this in that particular framework. That is the purpose. Because as you said, that how to connect to the world literature epic, which is written there also. And there you can think.
Because to use epic, if you use Mahabharata to tell a story to the rest of the world, it doesn't function anywhere. You see what I mean?
Again, the purpose is not diplomacy. The purpose is to understand the framework of epic and how it is created. That can be further used in a particular framework. But can that be used? So if you have anything, if not, then I will ask you a question. But before that, if you have anything, then we will stop recording.
What's your favorite epic?
What?
What is your favorite epic? That's the question. And I always tell you that what is your favorite color is a redundant question. What is your favorite epic is a redundant question. Yeah? Who is your favorite mother?
Your favorite mother?
My favorite mother. Has to be.
Is it possible to say that?
So that's not possible. So do we stop?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we can stop. No, why stop? You take it, somebody had to.
Joel.
You are prepared?
Stop recording?
No. So, certain. You hold it down.
A gift from Vietnam? Thank you.
So first of all, it is a great honor to extend our sincere vote of thanks on behalf of the School of Literature for the insightful and intellectually enriching series of lectures delivered by Professor Olivier over the past 3 days. We are truly grateful for your time and the depth of thought you brought into each session. Your exploration of interconnecting myths, storytelling, and public diplomacy offered us a compelling framework to understand how narratives shape global consciousness. The clarity and depth with which you approached these themes made them deeply engaging and intellectually stimulating. On the second day, your discussion on the influence of soft power in international relations added a crucial dimension to our understanding of diplomacy. The example of K-pop as a cultural force illustrated how modern soft power tools are reshaping global influence in subtle yet impactful ways. Today, in your concluding lecture, your reflections on the myths and epics of Kazakhstan, the traditions of nomadism, and the significance of cultural heritage was truly eye-opening. Your insights into the World Nomad Games and the concept of middle power in global affairs enriched our understanding of how nations positioned between major powers can shape diplomacy through cultural leadership and multilateral engagement. We would also like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Professor Sushant Sir, our Dean, whose continued support and vision has made this entire academic engagement possible. Thank you once again, Professor Arifin, for inspiring and enlightening us with your presence here. Thank you.